I'm David Boyle and I'm quitting alcohol. So I got some sad news today. My old boss, Youngie, fucking old Shags, Dean Youngie Young, passed away today. I was only just speaking to my mate Shawnee yesterday about Youngie, because Shawnee was the guy who got me into the cranes and Youngie was the boss. So he was telling me that Youngie, I think 2 years ago, was at a job and collapsed. Just fucking blacked out, managed to crawl his ass into his car and drive home somehow. Next day went to the doctor and had a scan on his brain and he had a fucking brain tumor. I only found all this out yesterday. So I guess they cut that out, and then for the last 2 years he's been like in and out of hospital, in a wheelchair, all sorts of stuff. It really affected his memory and everything. And then today, the day after I find that out, I find out he passed away. And it's fucking brutal. He was only 49, had a young kid. I wouldn't say he was like the picture of health when I knew him. He was a chain smoker. He never stopped smoking weed. There must be heaps of fucking early episodes of this podcast where I'm talking about all the cranies and that. Well, he was the head craney. He gave me an opportunity when I did not deserve one. If it wasn't for Youngie, I'd just be comedian philosopher David Boyle, not comedian philosopher crane operator David Boyle. And he really did give me an opportunity when I did not deserve one. And he kept me on when I didn't deserve it either. Like that first, let's say 4 to 6 months of dogging the cranes, you've never seen a more incompetent, useless cunt. Seriously. And all the cranies knew it as well. All the cranies I would go out with, they would come back and complain about me to Youngie. And Youngie would just go, nah, he'll pick it up, mate. Now, Shags, you got to fucking do a bit better than you've been doing out there, all right? And I'm like, yeah, I will. And I had no intention of getting better until I went away to the Perth fucking Fringe Festival and got arrested and realized I had to turn my fucking life around. And then I started working hard. He gave me a good pay rise. I was on good money, paid for my crane operation fucking license, paid for my fucking truck license. Honestly, without that job and without Youngie, I really don't even want to think about where I would be. I'd probably be manager of McDonald's as well, because that job gave me a lot of things. It gave me confidence. I learnt so much dogging for that company, so much. And I've been able to apply a lot of the stuff I learned into like my day-to-day life. Just problem solving shit. I mean, most of the jobs we did were 100% illegal. So there was a lot of problem solving to be done. It taught me a bit of hard work. I really owe a lot to that job. I was thinking about it the other day. I was like, before I started dogging, which is just the guy working with the crane. He directs the crane. He fucking hooks up all the loads. He's the main guy doing all the shit. The crane operator really does fuck all. It's the dogman who's running the show. But I was like, that's what you need. You need like 2 or 3 years dogging a crane. Mobile cranes as well, because it's a different fucking job all the time. Like, you get so many fucking curveballs. But after 2 or 3 years of dogging cranes, you can just about do anything. Like, the lessons you learn and your fucking problem-solving ability is just incredible afterwards. I still see myself now. I can just map things together that I never used to be able to do before I did that job. When I started, like, when I first walked in, all these cranies, because they, like, Youngie was a pig fucking hunter. I think, like, either the first day or the second day, he showed me a fucking picture of some huge male antlered deer or something he'd shot in the head. He wasn't even hunting it. It was just on his property. He's like, check this out, Shags. Yeah, filleted her up as well. Fucking beauty. And I was like, should I report this to Peter? When I walked in, they would have thought I was the biggest fucking faggot. And I was. I didn't know the difference between I didn't know anything. an oil filter, I just knew nothing. And it wasn't like I was contributing in like entertainment wise either. When they found out I was a comedian, I think that was the biggest shock. I think that was the biggest shock any of them had ever had. They're like, that guy, Unfunny Dave, is a comedian. That was my fucking nickname at the fucking crane company. Unfunny Dave. Anyway, I couldn't have fucking asked for anything else. And yeah, fucking sad news. But I'll forever be grateful for the opportunity you gave me. I really appreciated it. Rest in peace, Youngie. So now, after that sad news, let's head over to this week's episode of Boyle Breaks History. So this week on Boyle Breaks History, I've been getting a little bit into like evolution. And when I say getting into evolution, I mean I bought a book and I've read the first 3 pages. So I do consider myself a little bit of an expert now. And what I'm going to cover now is genetic drift. Most of you idiots probably haven't even read the first 3 pages of an evolution book, so you wouldn't even know what it is. So genetic drift is a mechanism of evolution that just happens by chance, like luck. You've got evolution by natural selection, which is pretty much like fitness. Like you're adapted to your environment, like you've got a big schlong and all the girls love it, so they want to procreate with you and all the fucking micro penises die out. That sort of thing. That's natural selection, sexual selection, all that sort of shit. That doesn't happen by chance, but genetic drift is just fucking some bullshit happen and it changes the population. So there's 2 ways genetic drift can happen. There's the founder effect and there's the bottleneck effect. And usually this is more pronounced in like smaller populations. You don't really see it as much in big populations because the frequency of the population is a little bit different. That made no sense, but it's in my head, it does. So let me explain the founder effect to you idiots. I'm barely going to be able to scratch it out myself. All right, so the founder effect. Let's just say you have a population of like 100 people. In that population, there's like 75 Asian people, there's like 15 white people, and there's like 10 black people. Like in real life. Or swap that around. There's like 15 black people and 10 white people. All right? 75 Asian, 15 black people, and 10 white people. So let's say 6 of the 10 white people are like, fuck this, I don't want to live with all these criminals. I don't like what's going on here. My shop keeps getting robbed. And I don't know what the Asians do. And fucking, I can't understand a word the other 75 cunts are saying. So I want to find somewhere we can just live in harmony together as white people by ourselves. So the 6 white people go on a little adventure, find a little bit of fucking land to themselves, and they're just living there. And then all of a sudden there's a massive earthquake and they get cut off from the original population. A sea divides them. So they live over there and it's just white people. And then over generations and generations, it's just white people over there. There's thousands of white people over there now. And over this side, it's all mixed in shit. So you would think there was only ever white people there, but they were actually part of a bigger population at the start. It's just they got cut off and then their genetics got isolated. So that's the founder effect. And I suppose it's like, yeah, some cunts found a place and then they stayed there and then those cunts, I don't know, whatever. That's the founder effect. Do you understand it now? Good. Now we're going to the bottleneck effect. This is the other mechanism of genetic drift. Let's say we're still in that population. There's 75 Asians, there's 15 black people, and how many white people are left? There's 4 because the other dude's left. Okay, so they're all hanging out. The black people are robbing people, the Asians being annoying, and the white people are ruling the whole place. The 4 white Okay, so everything's fine there, and then there's what are we going to have? What natural disaster are we going to do? We'll say a comet fucking hit, not a big one, just a small one, and it wipes out the 4 white people in charge, the 10 black people, and let's say 30 of the Asians. Now, you look at the population, you take a sample, and there's only 45 Asians left, and then over generations and generations, it's just Asians. And you're like, oh, there were only ever Asians here. All the variety and genetics have gone because of this bottleneck event. It took out all the variety, and now you're just stuck with China. This is a story about China. So do you get that? That's bottleneck event. So that's genetic drift. This is evolution by luck instead of natural selection. So that's it. Another great lesson from the Boyle. That'll do for today. If you're enjoying this podcast, please keep sharing it around. And you know what? I'll see you the fuck later.